So now the Krishna is telling Arjuna, because Arjuna, his main concern is that he doesn't want to kill his relatives and friends and all these people. Now the Krishna is telling Arjuna that even if you want, you cannot kill anybody, right? He's talking about Atman. And if we try to connect with our own experience, and if especially if you're doing meditations, you would notice there's a different things that you experience in the meditation, right? There's this different sensation in the body, there's different thoughts, different emotions, and ego, and this is all in the flux, right? They keep moving, right? But also there is a consciousness or awareness which experience all this thing, right? There's an emotion that comes, like for example, Arjuna is feeling like almost depressed, very strong emotion, and it has a tendency to, the awareness has a tendency to identify, right? And especially if something is very strong, like an emotion of anger or something like this, it has a quality to identify with that, right? It has a quality to identify with the body and this different aspect of it, right? But the experiencer is completely free from that, right? At some level, if you are practicing meditation for long enough time, you start to develop this sense, right? Because everything is actually keep moving, right? And if you have like this mindfulness that we are aware like what is going on, at some level you start to realize that things are constantly in flux, right? There's a different thought, different emotions, different physical sensation, different say, state of ego, and all these things keep moving. But there is a part of us which just experience all this thing, right? Which is experiencing all these differently moving states. And Krishna is talking about that part, and he calls it Atman. And he says that experiencer is formless, yeah, and it cannot be touched. Even if you want, you cannot harm that part of being. All you can do is basically create different sensation, create different inner states, but you can never really touch the experiencer, right? An experiencer has this quality to identify with these different aspects, but actually it never really gets identified. It never gets affected by any of this, right? So he's trying to give Arjuna the sense, right? In reality, you cannot even harm anybody, even if you want to harm them, right? All you can do is basically create different physical sensations or different thoughts and emotion that is caused by that, right? Even you cannot really directly create different thoughts and emotion inside the somebody's mind, but indirectly you can create using different physical sensation and all that, right? So that's what Atman is means. And there's a lot of different qualities that Krishna is mentioning here, right? That it was never born and it doesn't really get uh, spent, avyakt, or it cannot be touched with anything. Forget even like killing, you cannot even touch it, right? And there's so many of different qualities as we go forward. There's a lot more about like what is this nature of Atman, right? And but here Krishna is trying to point out, like in a more like a snapshot, that you can't really kill anybody, right? And actually, what you can do is you can destroy the body, which has to be destroyed eventually, right? If your body is not destroyed now, 10 years, 20, 50 years later, I mean, it will automatically be destroyed, right? But that is inevitable anyway, right? But then he mentioned, see, this battle that you are fighting right now, Arjuna is fighting this battle with his relatives and all. We are also fighting battles with our own life, right? So no matter which battle you're fighting right now, you actually didn't choose it, right? There's something which is given to you. And in this case, your swadharma, right? Your responsibility is to actually fight it, right? It wasn't something that you chose, but since it is given to you, your responsibility is basically to fight it, right? And now he moved to much more superficial layer, more like when we identify with our ego or individuality, right? He says, If you don't fight it, then the very likely outcome is going to be that you get a lot of disrespect, that you are coward and you got scared when the actual fight came and all these sort of things. So you're going to get like these sort of outcome if you don't fight it, right? And it's just not going to affect, uh, you know because you didn't fight the battle doesn't change that there is no battle, right? The battle is right there. So Krishna is urging him to actually fight in this battle, right? Because it is given to you and this is your responsibility now to fight it. At the same time, he also kind of help him to understand that actually on the deeper level, you're not really harming anybody, right? So ultimately, he says, like, giving you understand all this, right? Or whatever battle you are in right now, make a firm resolution and then fight it.